in the context of this, I just sent him a DM saying, hey, it was a very cordial, do you want to set up a debate on Trinity and the essence energy distinction? Because I think that's really important, contrasting to the Roman Catholic position, the Orthodox view of the energies. And he just flipped out. It was like,
that was just the one thing.
How dare you text me while I'm
live
streaming because you're working for the double? It's like, what? Like,
yeah.
Totally cool for 6 years, and then it's like one tweet or one text.
There was nothing else behind that.
No. In fact, they even said in the next message, like, hey man, there's no reason to get upset. Let's set up a timed response. That way nobody gets angry. And it just flipped out even, like it went even crazier. So,
all right, thank you for watching this video. On today's video, I did want to address a video interview, should I say, that I've watched on Ruslan's channel. Ruslan recently interviewed Jay Dyer, and where he went into the concerns with Sam Shamoun, and how Jay Dyer and Sam Shamoun, I guess, fell out, right? If you guys remember, Sam Shamoun and Jay Dyer participated as teammates, should I say, with the debate on Fresh and Fit, where they debated two, I guess, popular Muslims. I can't remember the Muslims' names, but nonetheless, they tag team and debated two Muslims. And so I watched that debate. I thought it went fairly well. You know, Sam Shamoun is definitely a wizard when it comes to the Quran and the Hadith. He knows his stuff. And Jay Dyer, not being so much knowledgeable about the Quran and the Hadith, he is more of a philosophical brainiac, so to speak. And so both of them have their strengths, and I think they both perform very well in this particular debate, and they really displayed a level of decorum, even though people were trying to get them to divide, that really put Muslims on notice, so to speak, because that debate definitely went in favor of the Ortho and Catholic position, so to speak. But with all that said, I guess Jay Dyer and Sam Shamoun fell out, I suppose. But this is not no surprise to me, because we know that anyone that, for at some point in time, anyone involved with Sam Shamoun, they will have a falling out. It's like almost inevitable. Some relationships with Sam Shamoun last longer before the falling out. Some are more shorter before the falling out. But all in all, at some point in time, you will have a fallout with Sam Shamoun if you are in some sort of working relationship with him. And so I did want to do the video here. So let's get into this video. I do not want to waste any more time. So let's jump right into this video and let's see what Jay Dyer has to say.
You talked about debating Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
I loved you and Sam Shamoun debating on valuetainment for the Christian position. I was like, y'all coming together, the Catholic and the Orthodox together, united. And they even try to throw out some bait to try to get you guys to kind of turn on each other a couple times. And you guys didn't take the bait. Thought it was a great debate. I thought it was fantastic. And then you and Sam have your.
See, so I get, you know, I think Ruslan really believes that Catholics and Eastern Orthodox will be able to get along in that capacity, right? I think Ruslan is amiss. I think he doesn't understand the divide between Eastern Orthodox and Catholics, right? They're closer to each other than maybe the Protestant and the Catholic, or the Protestant and Eastern Orthodox, but there are some major divides between the Eastern Orthodox and Catholics, and Eastern Orthodox will go so far as to call Catholics heretics, right? And for them to participate in the debate together does not mean that they're coming together in that capacity. Right, Ruslan has this hopefulness, and I think it stems from Ruslan seeing both Catholics and Eastern Orthodox as brothers in Christ. So Ruslan has this missed hope that they will somehow coalesce together in some unifying capacity. But the two churches are extremely divided.
Situation. What was your impression of the debate you had with him as a debate partner on valuetainment, and then when do you think that devolved to what ended up devolving to, which we'll get into?
Yeah, so, I mean, we had been on pretty good terms for 5 years-ish, 6 years. I mean...
Wasn't he kind of flirting with Orthodoxy a bit?
Yeah, and then I think he decided to go the papal route.
Yeah.
So...
And his thing is like, generally, like, I just want people to go to high church. I just want people to go to apostolic succession church. which is really interesting because I don't think it works that way. But
I don't either.
You could enlighten me.
No, I mean, yeah, we just did a stream with my buddy Kai from Orthodox Shahada critiquing that position of the idea of a sort of a generic apostolic Christianity, which it doesn't really make sense. I mean, but that debate happened because they were really looking for on Fresh and Fit. They wanted like a high profile Muslim Christian debate.
It was Fresh and Fit. My bad.
Yeah,
I said valuetainment.
That's all right. But I mean, I just wanted to give, because I appreciate Myron setting that up. That was cool of him to do that. And they were like, we want really kind of aggressive debaters because we're going to put aggressive Muslims on. Mm-hmm. And it was going to be Daniel, Hakikachu, and Jake canceled for whatever reason because he didn't want to do it. But so then they brought in Ijaz, who's, I don't think, a very good debater. But I was happy to do the, step back because Shamoun definitely knows Islam.
Very well.
And he knows the hadiths, infinitely better than I do and all that. So, yeah, I thought it was a perfect team up for that situation. And I tried to bring some, philosophical internal critiques to the table.
And if you guys watch that debate, I definitely think they bounced off each other very well in that debate. As Jay said, Shamoun is a wizard when it comes to the Quran and the hadith. He definitely knows it. He knows like the back of his hand. And they definitely got two aggressive debaters to debate these Muslims, right? I guess you do want to match the energies. I guess you could say when you're opposing, put a debate together. But so you definitely got the two aggressiveness with Jay Dyer and Sam Shamoun, because they definitely are very, very, very aggressive in their approach. So I think they did bounce off each other very well. And so I think the debate went good. But let's see what else he has to say.
And I think it was a blowout because if you go it's had multiple millions of views across the platforms. If you go to the Fresh and Fit channel, you can see 40,000-ish comments, 98% Islam lost. So optics were pretty bad for Muslims. So, that was I think the biggest debate of last year, except for Westside Billy Carson. Like those are the two biggest debates last year in terms of views. So it was providentially great. And then, you've got Sam moving continually in the last couple of years in the direction of papism. And, my buddies and I, we obviously didn't want him to go in that direction. So we're having this kind of backdoor DM conversation for a long time.
With him directly. You and him are chatting directly behind the scenes. Okay.
And the weird part was that we've been talking about setting up a debate on his channel about Orthodoxy papism, right?
You and him one-on-one or
with a panel. Okay. We're discussing all possible options. Like we were even talking about doing presentations, just not even a debate like I do it, because we've done that in the past. For example, we had a dispute with Vocab Malone some years ago. Mm-hmm. So Sam invited me and FDA to come on and do a presentation, and then separate Vocab Malone do a presentation. Mm-hmm. That way nobody's getting mad, and you can hear both sides. So we discussed that as a possibility. We discussed a panel round table. But anyway, long story short, in the context of this, I just sent him a DM saying, hey, it was a very cordial, do you want to set up a debate on Trinity and the essence synergy distinction? Because I think that's really important, contrasting to the Roman Catholic position, the Orthodox view of the energies. And he just flipped out. It was like,
that was just a one
how
thing.
How dare you text me while I'm
live
streaming because you're working for the devil? It's like, what? Totally cool for 6 years, and then it's like one tweet or one text.
There was nothing else behind that.
No. In fact, they even said in the next message.
And I 100% believe Jay Dyer in this regard, because this is sort of happened to me with Sam Shamoun, right? I reached out to Sam Shamoun some years ago. It had to be like a couple years ago, where I reached out to him concerning a debate with Kelly Powers, right? This is during the whole fiasco with Kelly Powers and Sam Shamoun, where they were really getting after each other. And Kelly Powers wanted to debate Sam Shamoun. And so Kelly Powers asked me to reach out to Sam to see if we can organize a debate concerning Catholicism or something like that, right? And so many people have beefs with each other, and they still willing to debate, right? And they willing to step into the debate arena and debate the subject matter. So that really wasn't a concern to me, like mine, like, oh man, they don't like each other, they won't debate, So I just did what Kelly Powers requested me to do, as I do with all the debates I set up, right? And so Sam Shamoun sort of flipped out on me, right? I dare you, I'm going to block you if you ever come at me with a debate request like that again. I'm like, okay, why are you bugging out? Like, why are you crashing out? I try to satisfy the request of all those who reach out to me to try to set up a debate, whether they like each other or not, right? And Sam Shamoun was about the only one that crashed out on me. Most people just say, no, I don't think it'd be a good debate because me and this person, so we don't get along or whatever. And they just ended at that. But Martin, thank you for reaching out. Appreciate you. They leave it at that. But Sam Shamoun, he has to flip out and crash out. Right. And so this is no surprise. And I totally believe Jay Dyer in this because I've experienced it from Sam Shamoun. And this is an ongoing issue with Sam Shamoun is that he flips out. And he shouldn't do that, right? That's not how you build relationship. That's not how you build decorum amongst people you may even disagree with, right? You shouldn't be crashing out in this fashion. And it begins to make you think like, is there something else going on, right? Is there some kind of health condition going on? Is there some kind of mental condition going on, right? Is there something going on inside of Sam that makes him do this, that makes him respond in this fashion, right? And I think as a community, as the YouTube Christian community, as the YouTube apologist community, evangelist community, or whatever you want to call it, I think it's about time we start asking these type of questions and stop looking at Sam Shamoun as someone who is just smart, which he is, very intelligent guy, and stop looking at him as just an apologist. And we start looking at him as a human being, realizing like, hey, is there something going on with him? You know what I mean? Because I'm not the only one he crashed out on. Jay Dyer is obviously not the only one he crashed out on. And Roseline even goes on about how Sam Shamoun crashed out on him. So let's see what else he has to say.
It's like, hey, man, it's no reason to get upset. Let's set up a timed response. That way nobody gets angry. And it just flipped out it went even crazier. So At that point, I was like, okay, something else is going on. So I just removed myself from that situation.
Essence, energy's distinction. I don't want to get super in the weeds on it, but it seems like Catholics take a more God's simplistic in that his parts are him, God's love is God, God's power is God, and you guys have a fair to say a bit of a distinction between
Absolutely.
God's essence and his energies.
Yeah.
And that's the foundational disagreement.
So he had the reason that came up was that
He mocked the energies thing a bit, right? Or
after
something
the
that.
thing,
that,
but
okay.
he was presenting a differing views of the Trinity from Protestant, Roman Catholic, Orthodox people. And that's what prompted me to message him and say, in our view, there's not just a filioque and non-filioque model. There's also the question of the energies that we believe is directly connected to the Father as the sole cause or the monarchia in the Godhead. So monarchical Trinitarianism, which Dr. Bo Branson is a really good
I got a couple buddies that are
Yeah.
monarchical Trinitarians. Yeah.
and we think that that doesn't stand alone. It also kind of necessarily connects to the doctrine of the energies because the energies have the same movement as the persons in the triad.
Interesting.
Anyway, so I included in the offer, why don't we discuss Trinity, filioque, and energies? And I think because he doesn't really know about that at all, he's new to a lot of these topics, it was easier for him to just sort of flip out, poison the well, spoil the possibility of having that debate.
I mean, if that is the reason why he crashed out on Jay Dyer in this particular exchange, then that's concerning, right? I mean, we have to have the humility to be able to say, man, if you don't understand the subject, you can just easily say, well, you know what? I'm not necessarily comfortable in this particular topic, Jay. Perhaps we can discuss something else and move on, right? There's no need to crash out on anyone because perhaps maybe you don't know a subject matter, right? That's not how you handle that. And once again, this introduces the idea of why are you acting up, right? What is going on behind the scenes for someone to crash out in this fashion? It's just blitzkrieg like that, right? It's not becoming of someone who's at the forefront of a particular position, right? Sam Shamoun, though, I question his Christianity, obviously, but Sam Shamoun is a face. He's a popular face on the YouTube scene and particularly the Christian position, right? He is a popular face. And so someone who is a popular face having that kind of behavior issues, man, it's not good. Not good at all. Not good at all. And this is not me saying Jay Dyer is perfect either. Jay Dyer is he's a crash out artist as well, right? And so he has his ability to crash out as well, right, over some simple stuff, right? I've seen some of his streams where he go at someone and he's extremely volatile. I just recently watched a clip where he was on the Whatever podcast. If you know the Whatever podcast, it's one of the more popular IRL podcasts in the country. And he crashes out on this girl so hard, right? And so Dyer has his issues as well, right? But I think there's something beyond just having an inability to communicate, right? I think there's something really going on with Sam Shamoun, and I think it's time for us to really show that concern and really invest into figuring out like what is going on with him, right? Because he has crash out and anger issues. He has all these things, and he doesn't just have it towards one person. He has a bunch across the board, right? And so definitely there needs to be some kind of concern drawn to this issue.
Yeah, he had crashed out on me the week before that. He had crashed out on somebody else the week before that, and I was privately talking to him, like trying to get him to walk off certain ledges because it was like a consistent onslaught.
That's my experience too.
Of like, hey man, like I'm not trying to attack you.
Right.
Like if my audience asks, what do I think about this thing that happened?
Right.
I'm going to talk about it. If you don't want me talking about it, I won't ever talk about you again. I won't put you in a thumbnail. I won't do any of that sort of stuff. And then he's like, no, it's all good. It's all good, brother. Thank you for reaching out. And we had a really good conversation. And then it just completely went left.
It's
and then,
like bipolar. Like,
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, there's something going on there. The stuff that
And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, he even crashed on a Ruslan, right? He crashed on a Ruslan for Ruslan just simply requesting something or asking him a question, right? This is not normal, guys. We have to begin to stop treating this as it's normal. It's not normal behavior, right? And it's not just this simple, oh, Sam Shamoun has his sinful struggles like everyone else. No, we got to start looking at different ways of considering this, right? This is across the board, guys. Dude, do you not realize Sam Shamoun, he doesn't talk to David Wood. He doesn't talk to Anthony Rogers. He doesn't talk to Dyer, apparently. He doesn't talk to Ruslan. There are so many people that has discontinued their relationship with him as far as working with him because of Sam Shamoun's behavior issues. And I know there are many Catholics that follow his channel who've debated on his channel and that follow Sam Shamoun and will devote themselves to his teaching. If you really care about Sam Shamoun, and this is going to all my Catholic friends out there, if you really care about Sam Shamoun, you need to start investing into showing real concern for him. Stop bolstering his ego that he may continue this type of behavior. Because it's starting to get to the point where I'm starting to believe that many of his Catholic followers are beginning to adopt the same behavior issues, where they feel that crashing out and acting a complete fool is becoming of what a Christian is supposed to look like. This is not so. So we have to really start showing a really sincere concern about his behavior issues. We need to stop allowing this. We need to start really showing the true concern. And the way that you show true concern is by asking them and stop encouraging it, and this has to come from his Catholic community. And I would even argue that it has to come from people that he's sincerely close with, like a William Aldrich, right? William Aldrich needs to start really condemning this type of behavior because it's not good. And so, a lot of these guys who are close to Sam Shamoun really need to start coming out and saying, hey man, that's not cool, man. You know what I mean? And not just having that within your heart of concern, but really voicing the concern. Right. And almost like, if you don't stop behaving this way, I have to discontinue my relationship with you, because my fear is that some of these guys out there are really good at what they do. And if they continue to associate themselves with someone like that, that's really volatile, disrespectful, calling people mothers whores and calling people mothers and families this and that, the whore of the devil and all this stuff, cussing them out, like it's going to, if they continue to associate with this individual, with Sam like this, is that what's going to happen is that their efforts are going to be undercut. Their efforts are going to be cut down because they have wedded themselves to a Sam Shamoun. And so this is something that's been going on for quite some time. This is nothing new. This is something that has been going on for a long, long time. And I think it's about time as a YouTube Christian community to start shutting this down and not allowing him to behave in this fashion. This is not good, because Jay and Ruslan, myself and others are not, and all the guys I pointed out, they are not the only ones that have experienced his behavior issues. Vocab Malone's another one, right? Vocab, Dr. Edward Dacour, like all these guys have experienced his behavior issues. And it's about time we stop encouraging it by wedding ourselves to his work, right? And stop wedding ourselves to this particular type of behavior, right? Because that's what's happening, right? We have to stop it. And that's the only way we're going to stop is by calling it out for what it is. And that's the concern, right? And if it's really a mental issue where it's like some bipolar issues going on, that is a real true mental condition, right? That is a mental condition. And for us to massage that away and say, oh, it's not really that. Oh, he's just struggling. Like, no, we need to really call it out for what it is. And if it's something mental like that, bipolar, like that's serious, right? And so we need to start having a real serious conversation about this. Like, should we be wedding ourselves to someone like that, especially considering that if he has a true and real mental condition, my goodness, man, we should not be doing that, right? We should not be allowing that. We should not encourage that. We should be encouraging him to go get the help that he needs, so that when he does, if he gets the help he needs, he can come back, and do his thing in a more sane way, right? Instead of flipping out the way he does and crashing out on everybody that approaches him, right? It just simply isn't, it's not ideal. It's not good. And we should not encourage that behavior.
He said, though, seems to have crossed some lines I've never seen him cross before, where he started talking about your wife. He really jumped out the window and said some wild stuff that I've never like
weird.
I thought there was certain stuff that's just off limits.
Yeah.
And how did you process that? And at that point,
Ruslan, where you been, bro? You been living in the cave? Sam Shamoun's been doing this for ages, literally. Dude, he's called people mothers whores and all this stuff, right? Like, where you at, Ruslan? Come on, man, get out the cave, bro. He's been doing this for a long time. This is not new. How you didn't hear about this?
You just kind of like, oh, this is something else. He's having a mental health episode and I just need to leave him alone. Was that kind of your temperament, more or less?
Yeah, and I don't mean that in a mocking way. I think actually there is some kind of like probably a bipolar thing going on. Mm-hmm. And I know he's had a tough time with his situation, mm-hmm. which I don't talk about people's personal drama usually. Mm-hmm. I don't know about what's going on with him, but mm-hmm. I think that sometimes people have kind of like what we talked about earlier with Alex, like there might be something going on personally, mm-hmm. and then that affects sort of the internet optics and how they're operating on the internet. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that would be my guess, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to conclude this video right here, but yeah, man, I mean, if there's really an issue going on, we need to treat it like that, right? We need to start really pushing the idea that to go get a mental assessment, right? To really start going to counseling, to really start going to where he needs to go to get the proper assistance, right? Because these things we cannot encourage, man. We cannot allow it to persist. This idea of just crashing out on everyone. And once again, this is not me saying like Jay Dyer is a perfect saint. No, Jay Dyer has his issues too. And he needs to get himself under control. Many of these guys who call themselves ortho bros, I think you guys know who I'm talking about, need to get themselves under control. I know some Eastern Orthodox guys who are very, very pleasant. Right? They are respectful. They honor their interlocutors. They are very, very honorable. So this does not go out to all Eastern Orthodox guys, but there's a particular group of ortho bros, popular ones, who behave in such a manner that is not becoming of what they call themselves Christian, right? It's not becoming of that behavior. And so these things need to be addressed. But all in all, I'm definitely praying for Sam Shamoun. I'm praying for him because this is not a video of trying to expose Sam Shamoun, but this is a video of showing true concern for him. And that I do feel that it's gotten to a point where he's crashed out on so many people, and his streams are filled with vile conversation, vile talk from him. Someone disagrees with him, he calls him the dog, a devil. He calls Protestants dogs. He goes in, right? And this is not not good, right? And we should not encourage. And I think if we do ministry with him, if you do work with him, I think that is sort of a way of encouraging his behavior, and I think that shouldn't be good. And so with all that said, I pray that this video was a blessing to you. If you've yet to do so, make sure you subscribe to The Gospel Truth and hit that notification bell so you don't miss on any shows that are coming up here in the future. All right, take care. God bless.